What's up everyone, WizardKen here with another Xbox One World of Tanks video. Today we're going to be doing a first impression video on the M46 Patton, the Tier 9 medium American tank. That's right guys, we're finally starting our tank line, and we're going to be starting it with this one. Now for you guys that are just joining my channel for the very first time, thank you so much for coming out and looking at my channel. Now you might be wondering, well, he's just starting out on a new tank line, and he's starting with a tier 9. Isn't that kind of backwards? Don't you start with a tier 1? Yes, we usually do. Let me explain really quickly. I've been playing tanks for a long time, and before I really started recording stuff, I had already gone through a lot of these tanks, like the M4A3E2, the Jumbo Sherman, the T20 I'd already played. The only tank I hadn't played yet and done anything with is the Pershing. And so I was like, I debated about this for a while. Whether to do a video on the Pershing or not or anything like that. And then I was just like, I've read a lot of your guys' comments saying, oh, the meat and potatoes of this line is the M46 Patton and the M48 Patton. The other tanks are just a grind fest kind of thing. And so I was just like, I looked at the Pershing and I had enough experience points to get the first gun and just go straight to the Patton. So I just said, screw it, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this tank line. Let's get to the M48, and then we can start on our other medium line. I mean, it's pretty good. But I know some of you guys aren't going to like that because you'd rather me start at a tier 6, which I've already owned before, and then gone to the T20 and different things like that. But maybe we can do other videos later on about reviewing some of these older tanks again. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I'd rather just go with the tier 9 and tier 10, and then let's move on. Because look at this. We've only got the M48 Patton to unlock and the T110E3 to unlock, and we will have unlocked pretty much every single tier 10 in the American side except for the T92. And I seriously need to buy this tank back and the T110E5 back. But yeah, that's for another thing to do. Anyways, guys, so welcome once again to the first impression video for the M46 Patton. In these videos, I will be giving you a first look of what these tanks can do, pretty much stock. I haven't taken this tank out at all. That's why you can see the star in the top right corner. We're going to be taking it out together, and we're going to be testing it out, see how it does, and, just get a feel for it. And then I'll give you my opinions at the end of the video about how I think, about it for the very first time. I will also do a review video later on in a couple of weeks after I've gotten to play the tank for a little bit and give you a better thoughts on whether this tank stayed the same as my first impression, whether I liked it or not, or if I got better with it and I had a change of heart of, whatever. But this is not a review. I just really want to point that out. This is just looking at the tank for the very first time and just getting a feel for it. Anyways, we're going to be going over the stats first. Then we're going to be jumping into a tank inspector, which I used a computer version of a tank inspector so that we can all look at the armor. We can see if there's any weak spots, if there's any spots that are going to be able to bounce, different things like that. I want to check like the inside of these tracks at the top there where the armor kind of covers them up like a mud flap kind of thing, or a fender. The reason why I want to check on those, I want to know if those are weak spots, because I really haven't even paid attention to hitting at this tank. Usually I just shoot at wherever I can, and there you go. But I'd really want to know some in-depth things. Is that gunner port considered a, nasty spot to shoot at? Who knows? Who knows? So we're going to look at that. Then we're going to take this thing out into battle a couple of times and see how we can do. So let's jump into the stats, and then we'll get to the tank inspector and go into a battle. Alright guys, so let's take a look at the stats on the M46 Patton. Now remember, I don't have everything unlocked on this tank, so there are some numbers that could change possibly in the end when we go to review this tank, like the hit points, the speed, the turret armor, the gun, different things like that. Right now we're just basically looking at a basic stock tank. Now it's not really stock because I did get the first package for this tank because there was a tier 7, I think 90mm or something like that. I'd have to look again. Yeah, it was a 90mm, and then the tier 8 is the 2mm you can unlock, and that's what I decided to go ahead and do. So I went ahead and unlocked that thing and said, screw it, we're going to do that. So anyways, So the hit points on this tank is 1,600, which, like I said, could change at any time. So don't sit there and think like, oh my god, that sucks. No, eventually, if I unlock like the last package or something like that, the hit points could change on this thing. So don't sit there and think that this is a little bit of hit points. You know, we are going to be seeing tier 9s and tier 10s, possibly tier 8s, stuff like that. And if we get into tier 10 battles, the 1,600, it's going to seem like we're going to die pretty quickly. And we will. There's a good chance of it. The Death Star could do some really, really nasty damage to us. Other tank destroyers could do some really, really nasty damage to us. So eventually we'll get some more hit points. But right now we're stuck at 1,600, I believe. Now, the speed on this thing is 48 kilometers per hour. Some people might not think that's very fast. I think that's actually a pretty decent speed, especially for an American tank that, you know, usually are decently heavy. You know, when you look at American tanks, at least like from my understandings from the, like the T110E5, you know, that thing was built around trying to have a decent amount of armor with a decent gun and a decent amount of speed and stuff like that. They try to make it very balanced between all three of those things. And so I feel like that's what this tank is going to be like when I first looked at the stats. Is that it's not going to have amazing armor, but it's going to be okay. It's not going to have an amazing gun, but it's going to be okay. I mean, right now the gun's not going to be great. But when we unlock the bigger, I think it's a 105, it'll be better. And I think that's how we're going to have to play this tank. It's just, it's going to be well balanced. It's going to be able to move pretty decently. And we're just going to have to use that style of being an annoying like light tank, medium tanker that doesn't have tons of armor but is okay, and just peck at people. We do have a decent view range on this thing, so we're definitely going to probably be trying to stay in the back a little bit and doing some pop shots at some people in that sense. Now, moving on to the whole armor, we have 102 in the front, 76 on the side, and 51 on the rear. Once again, we need to do that tank inspector and check out how much the slant on the tank actually increases the amount of armor we get. So the effectiveness of that armor. So we could go from 102 to 200. Who knows? We'll find out once we get into that thing and start reviewing it a little bit more. Now, the turret armor is 102 on the 76 on the side and 76 on the rear. Now, this is something, once again, we'll have to look at Tank Inspector to see how much of that is going to, how much more we're going to get from the effectiveness of the armor, you know, how slanted it is, and different things like that. But one of the things I'd like to point out is that when we go to look at this thing at the Tank Inspector, or even in the game, the gun mantle that the gun is held by is pretty big looking. I don't know how thick it is, but it looks pretty thick to me. And so when we go to look at that at the Tank Inspector, you know, that thing covers up a decent amount of the turret in the front. There are the two little areas on the left and right side where the turret actually connects to the mantle that are shown a little bit, but it's not terrible. The gun mantle actually holds up a lot of the area, so maybe that might be able to protect us a little bit more. Now, the gun on this thing, like I said, is the Tier 8 90mm. The Tier 7 one, if I remember right, only gave me like 160 penetration. Now, the Tier 9 is only going to give me like, is only going to give me 190 penetration. But as you could tell, you know, if we are a Tier 9 tank, I wanted to make sure, even for our first impression video, that we take out at least a decent gun for this tank. Because if we get into a lot of Tier 10s, we're going to get screwed with that 160 pen. There's no way we're going to pen anybody. We're going to have to spam premium rounds the entire time. But anyways, this 90mm will fire at a rate of 7.89 rounds a minute. So there you go. Almost 8 rounds in a minute. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now, the aim time on this thing is 2 seconds. I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad at all. The accuracy for the gun is 0.37. I think that could be better, but I believe once we get to the bigger gun at the end, we should have a better accuracy than this. No, I'm looking at it right now. It's only 0.38. So we're going to actually lose accuracy, but the aim time's still going to be good with the last gun. But anyways, 0.37, I wish it could have been like maybe 0.36, 0.35 or 4, but there you go. Anyways, especially for like a 90mm, you would think it'd be a little bit better aiming. So the damage, if we actually penetrate somebody, because we only got 100 and 90 penetration, like we talked about, is only 240. So we're not going to be doing a lot of damage. We're definitely going to have to be just sitting there and shooting at people over and over and over again. But once we get the last package on this tank, we will be actually doing some decent damage and penetration, like 218 penetration and 390 in damage. So that 105 millimeter, once we unlock that, will definitely give us a huge increase in damage and penetration. So we'll actually be able to hurt somebody. Right now, we're going to be tickling everybody. But we can do 268 penetration with premium rounds. That's why I did get a 10 of those, because if we do run into tier 10s, I want to be able to penetrate whenever I can. And there you go. Now, the camo rating on this thing is average, so we will be spotted here and there. But I'm not worried about it. We have a decent amount of speed, and I believe the mobility on this tank is going to be pretty decent. I don't believe there's another upgrade for the engine. Oh, there is another upgrade for the engine. I misspoken. There is one more upgrade for the engine and the turret eventually, and the gun near the second to last and last package. Once I unlock those, I'll be able to have a little bit better horsepower and speed and stuff like that, and maybe maneuver a little bit better. The view range on this thing right now is 400, which is not bad. And we still have, when I looked at it, we still had some gray areas. So we might go up to like 405, 410. I'm not sure what the top view range for this thing is yet. And don't you guys tell me in the goddamn comments. I want to wait until I unlock that thing. But I have to get after you guys, because you're like, hey, wait until you get this and this and this. I'm like, God damn it, guys. Leave me alone. I want to just find out on my own. YouTuber life. Anyways. So the view range on this thing is 400, which is not bad for just starting out. That is really good. And we're going to be going against tier 9s and tier 10s and tier 8s. And so, I mean, we're going to be able to spot these guys pretty easily. I know one of the things I hate about the tier 10 version of the Patton, the M48, is that, man, I'll get spotted by the thing all the time. Even when I'm in my waffle sometimes, if I'm not, stop moving or anything like that, bastard will pick me up before I ever get a chance to freaking see him. And I'll get a couple, shots into me from him because I didn't see him yet. So, but there you go. Anyways, guys, let's do the tank inspector real quick so that we could look at the armor, and then let's jump into some battles. Alright, guys, so this is the tank inspector that we're going to be using today. It's a website at tanks.gg, and then you can look up World of Tanks, and they'll give you a whole bunch of, basically like a tech tree. You can select all the different tanks that you want to look at. It allows you to change up any of the guns that might be on there. So if you want to look at what the tank looks like in a stock setting, and then what it looks like when it's at its highest potential with all the packages on it and the best things you can get, you can do that. It's a really, really nice thing that you can use on the computer. Now there are a couple on the your phone you can use that are pretty okay too, but I highly suggest that you try to find one that works with Xbox One or 360. I haven't really found one that works as good as this, but unfortunately, guys, just an FYI, this is actually the PC version of the tank. So if it ever comes up, like for instance, this armor is 101 in the front. Technically, the armor that we have is 102. So it is a little bit off on certain things. Like this is 85 millimeters of armor, so on the front, which is kind of weird. But we do get that 76 up there. But anyways, just bear with me. We'll make adjustments where we have to see the effectiveness of the armor. So let's just look at the upper plate real quick. So that green number you see at the top, for some of you guys that are new to watching my series or haven't used a tank inspector before, that is basically telling us how much the armor is increased by the effectiveness of that armor, meaning how angled this armor is equaled into the effectiveness of the armor, which comes out with 133 millimeters. So you can see underneath that the regular armor is, we're going to say 102 because that's technically what we are, and the armored is angled at 39 degrees. All right. Now with that all calculated together, it comes up to 100 and 30 millimeters of effective armor. So that should hopefully explain what we're going to be talking about today. So anyways, but you could see that even with the armor being angled at 39 degrees, which isn't an amazing amount of slant on it. I wish it was a little bit more slanted. But as you can see, it really doesn't increase this but so much. So any tier 8, 9, and 10 are pretty much going to be able to pen us easily there. Now, the lower plate, which is angled pretty nicely, that is actually at a 56 degree, which is awesome. Actually does a decent amount of blocking. You know, the lower plate is technically 76 millimeters thick. We're just going to go off of what this thing says on here. And it increases to 136. Man, it's actually not that bad. Now, if we angle this tank, we can see that the armor will increase pretty nicely. It'll go up to 183, but still, majority of the tanks are going to be able to pen you out of here really, really easily. Now, this thickness of this armor here, which is that little... it was like that little metal hump that we saw on the front. 139 millimeters thickness there with the effectiveness of 155. So pretty much I would just say the front of this tank is completely weak on the hull. It's going to be pretty easy for people to shoot you and you not bounce. Now let's look at the turret a little bit more and see how that's going to do. Now, looking straight at somebody, the gun mantle is only 114 millimeters thick. So, yeah, I'm not really happy with that. Because even with the angled arm, well, if you shoot straight flat on it, it's 125 millimeters. So, most tanks are going to pen that. And that's not a small item either. We talked about how big that thing is earlier. And, yeah. So, yeah, if they hit either left side or right side of this thing, smack dab in the middle, they're going to be able to pen you. Now, if we move up a little bit, you can see that the 101 millimeters is not that great either, plus the 101 spaced armor. See, this doesn't have any spaced armor. It just goes straight through. Where this top area apparently has some spaced armor, because it shows it on there when we move it up. There's enough, yeah, there's a little bit of spaced armor right there. So, and that does help out. But there's no real spaced armor here. Even though it shows like there's spaced armor. As you can kind of... See if I can zoom in a little bit better for you. Trying to get a better view in there. But I really can't. I really can't get in there. But apparently there's some spaced armor behind there that helps out at the top. But that doesn't mean anything. Because that's near the top. We want, you know... thickness here. We want thickness here. Alright, so let's move on to the side of these cheeks because we were worried about these things too. Yeah. As you can see here, this is not good at all. This is not good at all. Now, we can see where that 102 comes into play. Technically, this is 101, but you can see where the 102 thickness is actually just around the edge of the gun mantle. It's not on these side cheeks here that we can see. Definitely not. That's only 76. That's only 76. And we're barely even getting close to... Well, this side we're getting close to like almost 200. This side, we're getting 154. And let's look at the commander's hatch a little bit. Yeah. So pretty much right now, without that beefed up turret, we're getting screwed over. Let me change to the bigger turret just to see what we get on this. So it looks like the armor... now the gun mantle, of course, is super thick now. Because of the way it's probably designed. The effectiveness is 411, which is pretty good. So, but let's look around the sides where we were having problems. And once again, I mean, it's a little bit higher than what we saw earlier. It really is. Let me get this tank looking at it straight. But not the most amazing. Still pretty crappy. And then this side, right here, not the most amazing either. So, Ooh, now we're getting some high numbers over here. 262. But seriously, if anybody shot us in the turret on the left or right side, it's probably going to hit hard. But it is angled pretty well. We still have a good chance of just bouncing, too. Commander's hatch. Certain spots are not too bad. But I would still say that they would be able to hurt us pretty easily on that. And of course, the front of this thing on the whole stays the same. Alright, so my plan for attack today is I'm going to do what I can with the turret I have and the gun I have. But unfortunately, as we saw on here, it's not the greatest. We're going to have problems all over this tank. You know, it's got okay armor, but the tier tanks we're going to be seeing today probably not going to be best for us. Probably going to get hurt. So, anyways, guys, let's jump into a battle and see what we could do, because there's not really much explaining on this. We're screwed on armor. You know, I thought it was a little bit more balanced in this, but maybe the tier 10's the only one that really is balanced in armor. But we'll find out when we get that tank finally. So, but until then, let's take this thing out, see what we could do, and yeah. Alright, guys, we're on Siegfried line, and it's an encounter. We're going to be seeing tier 9s, tier 8s. Awesome. Alright, so we are going to see a lot of tier 9s, but there are some tier 8s out there. See what we can do on this. Anyways, guys, I want to apologize for not putting this video up yesterday. I was going to record all this stuff, but I was having problems with my truck. And so I had to spend a decent amount of time for the mechanics and different things like that to call me and stuff like that. Now, I usually fix my own things, but it's not really my truck. It's my father-in-law's truck. I use it while I'm still here because, you know, I'm not going to buy a new car if I can just use his because he works out of state, so he doesn't even take his truck with him. But anyways, but the stupid thing just didn't want to start at all. I mean, it just wouldn't crank or anything. But anyways, let's move back to talking about this tank. So as we saw in the tank inspector, even if we angle this thing and different things like that, we're probably not going to bounce too much. We're not going to be bouncing but so much with this tank. So we need to be very careful on what we do with this thing. We really, really do. We need to make sure that, you know, look at that aim time. Holy crap. But we need to just make sure that we're not doing anything to get us compromised and to get our butts kicked anytime soon. Oh, man, that reload's killing me. It's not a bad reload. It's just I wish I could have had another shot on that guy, and I couldn't. So, that sucks. But anyways, yeah, we just have to play this very cautiously. Not push ourselves tons and stuff like that. Now, as you guys might have seen in the very first section before we started talking about the stats and stuff like that, is that I did have my tank set up for, you know, I had a gun rammer, a vertical stabilizer, and a gun lane drive to help out with the reload, the aiming, and the aiming on the move. The reason why I did that is because I've seen a lot of people run around with some of these tanks and just shoot on the move perfectly, and I get my ass kicked. So, yeah. Alright, I'm trying to see if I can spot this other tank that was way the fuck out there. But I don't see it. What are the two heavy tanks that are out here? M103, IS-8. Oh, God. There goes that fucking accuracy. God damn it, he sees me. Gotta run. Do not want to get hit hard by him. Ow, and of course, magically, I'm not even spotted. Motherfucker, lucky shot. And that's why I didn't want to go out there but so much. Look at this, my team is just all fighting out there. You know what, I'm just, even the enemy team's doing the same fucking thing. Their whole fucking team is there instead of getting the flag. I wonder if that's the prick that saw me. I bet you it is. Alright, I gotta get rid of this prick for my buddy. Come on, tank. Run. Trying to save you, Artie, as much as possible. But it doesn't look good for me. It really doesn't. Hey, Artie, maybe you should shoot at some of these guys. I mean, I'm just saying. They're shooting at me. Even their fucking artillery's doing it. Hey, Spiff. He's like, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna chase you down. I'm gonna chase you down. I'm gonna chase you down. I chased him down. Ah. Well, okay. I'm not gonna say this was an amazing game. It wasn't. But I have to say, I'm getting used to the tank. The traverse is okay. It's not the most amazing traverse out there. But I am doing okay. And I am getting some hits in. But I'm not doing amazing. Fuck me. Them and their bastard tanks, and then they get blown them all up before I get in there. Now, some people are still wondering why I decided to take this tank out instead of the starting on the Russian line tanks. I was just like, I feel like they wouldn't be like easy, but I would be babied a little bit more with those tanks because of the armor and stuff. I'm not saying that they're easy. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm used to having tanks that have a little bit of armor, and then it makes it a little bit easier for me to transition into that. You know, like the Motherland tank and the Type 59. Those were tanks that I had an easy time transitioning into and playing a little bit. I wasn't amazing with them, but I was getting better and better with them, and I was bouncing sometimes a lot. And so, I thought, you know what? The best way to really learn a medium tank is to try to play one that doesn't have a lot of armor. You know, it has a balance between everything. And so I was like, screw it, let's do the Patton line. Alrighty, guys, so we made 25,000 in silver, 2,400 experience points, which is pretty much nothing. One tank destroyed, 1,256 damage, 6 penetrations. This was not a very good game, okay? But I'm keeping it in there just so you guys can see my first thoughts when I first moved my tank out there. And also, the game didn't play as well in my hands as I thought it would. You know, a lot of people wanted to go to the town, and I wasn't going to do that, not without having a bigger gun and the bigger engine to be able to move in and out a little bit more efficiently. But there you go. Alrighty, so we got the MT-25. We're like the only guy we could pick on, really. I got a hit on the Tortoise, M103, and then that was it. And then the T-54, I forgot about him. Alright, guys, we're on Prokhorovka, night standard battle. We're going to be going against tier 9s, tier 8s, and tier 7s. Wow. Thank you, matchmaking, for actually doing something a little different for me. Matchmaking has been pretty much a dick to me today. I've been seeing a lot of higher end tiers that, not that that's a bad thing or anything, but one of the problems I have with that is that we were having only a couple tier 9s and the rest tier 8s and tier 7s, where they had majority tier 9s and only a couple tier 8s in their game. And so we were seriously crap down on matchmaking on that. I think matchmaking has become broken. So, not good. Man, this gun depression is one of the things I'm very happy about. I really don't have to get very high to be able to use my gun, which is very, very nice, which is one of the reasons I liked trying this tank line that you guys told me to do. Now, did they? Yeah, they did. So when they changed this map, they dropped this down a little bit, so there's no hill for anybody to sit on, which kind of sucks. Now, I'm wondering if we should try to push a little bit. I should be able to outspot anyone. Their only tank destroyer is a Yak Panther. So, I'm trying to help spot something. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it. There's no artillery. I wonder if there is anybody down here. Yeah, I've got an IS-3 over there. There is somebody. I just saw a round come from over there. From somewhere. Yep. I gotta move. This is never good. Already spotted. Look at that shit. Fucking Motherland out spotting me. Or somebody else fucking spotting me. Yeah, look at that shit. That fucker is out spotting me. Who the fuck is... Seriously, like, who the fuck is able to do this? How am I not spotting these guys sooner? This is getting ridiculous. Getting my ass kicked because I can't goddamn spot far enough. What the fuck? Eat it, comp. Like, seriously, I'm about to head to the other side just to say fuck this. Gun depression. You failed me a little. Damn. Alright, now we're getting some damage in there. I'm so pissed off because the Motherland does not have that great a view range. And yet, it's there kicking my ass. Tracked you, bitch. Magically, but I tracked you. I don't care. E75. Comet coming up. Running away. And somebody taking a random shot, either at me or the Panther down here. Come on, IS-3, give me something. Looks like the hill's about to be taken. This Yak Panther is in a bad spot. He should not be sitting there. God damn it. Who the fuck is this? An STI. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna switch up the premium rounds because that thing's gonna bounce like a bitch. Got that lower plate, which is nice. And I completely missed. Thank you, premium rounds. And damages viewport. Come on, we gotta hit something better than that. We are still hitting the ground! Fuck you, game! RNG, stop being a dick! There we go. Finally, another good hit. Ooh, somebody got him. Alright, switching back to regular rounds. Alright, what are we looking at? The E75 is somewhere near these mediums, I believe. Or was there two E75s? Yeah, there was. So the other E75 might still be on the hill? I don't know. Jesus Christ. I mean, seriously, this game. RNG. I mean, I know I don't have the greatest accuracy, but Jesus Christ, it just wants to shoot underneath. Alright, so the other E75 is up on the hill. Oh, wait, it's a KV-2? Oh, I missed. Fuck my life. There we go. Got my one shot in there. Alright, so we made 9,000 in silver, 2,227 in experience points, 1,000 in damage, and 1,000 assisting, which isn't bad. On a roll, what is that? Okay, whatever. We got Confederate, and there we go. We detected 2 tanks. Ooh, boy. And we're still at the bottom, because we suck ass. Dear God, can I not get a good game with these tanks? Jesus Christ. I still don't know how that fucker, the motherland, saw me. I really don't. Alright, guys, so I'm going to show you this real quick before we wrap this video up. So my view range is 400 meters. Motherland's is 360. So he couldn't have been the one spotting me. Somebody else must have been spotting me, but I don't know who, because the IS-3 wasn't spotting me from what I saw. Now, and the STI shouldn't have been able to spot me either. I don't know who did it, but from what I saw on the when I was playing, I don't think anybody really did look at me other than the motherland. So I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comments on this. Anyways, let's wrap this shit up real quick, because Jesus Christ. Oh man. Anyways, guys, the M46 Patton right now, I'm struggling with it. I don't think it's a bad tank, and I don't think... I'm not playing it probably the most amazing way, but I still only have the stock gun, or not stock gun, but the second gun on it, 90mm, and I don't have the better turret or engine, and I'm still trying to feel it out. But I feel like I kind of got gypped today with matchmaking and the way the teams played today. Because really... I was the only one on that one right side, and in the sense of being able to spot. And it's difficult. It's difficult to do with when you're playing by yourself. So I think maybe in the next video I'll probably get Solus to play with me a little bit, and we'll run some mediums together and see if we can do some damage to some people or something like that. We'll figure something out. But I'm telling you, I'm having a hard time with it now. Bubba, on the other hand, enjoyed this tank a lot and had a lot of fun with it. But I think he didn't have fun with it until he got the last package with the bigger gun and stuff. So maybe that's what's going to do it for me. I think, yeah, we'll just see what happens. We really just have to wait and see what happens once we get that last package and stuff like that. But anyways, I think it's a neat tank. I love the gun depression. I like the mobility of it. The accuracy fucks me over so badly. It really does. Or let's just say RNG screws me over. I think the accuracy isn't bad for what it is. I wish it was a little bit better. But, you know, the accuracy is not that bad on this thing. It shouldn't be flopping all over the place. But, whatever. Anyways, guys, I'm WizardKen. Hit that like button if you like the video. Leave a comment. Give me your suggestions on what I should do with this tank a little bit more. Like I said, I don't think I'm doing bad, but I'm kind of babying the tank a little bit, I feel, just until I get a better feel of it. I think you know, I played 3 or 4 missions today, and you know, my first one, you can see I really baby it, and then on the last one, I still babied it, but not as badly as on the first battle you guys are going to see. The other ones I didn't show you because matchmaking was just terrible today. And I wish I actually had a better gains for you guys, but I'm not going to, you know, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen today. And I'm not going to keep pushing back this video anymore. you know, just because I'm not getting good matches and stuff. So it's just been happening. You know, when I live streamed the other day, it just happens. Freaking terrible teams and stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys think about this tank, and your thoughts on helping me with it. So, anyways, guys, I'm WizardKen. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, see ya.